Good morning, welcome to a morning review on Thursday the 26th of November 2015. This is Kim Watson speaking for Ezeetrader. Happy Thanksgiving to those that are celebrating it today. I wish you a very, very happy day. Okay, let's go on to the euro dollar. And as you can see yesterday, once again we went back into the, pitched into the area of where there was demand previously. Actually shows better on a weekly chart here. There we go. So you can see we sort of went into this sort of demand zone again. So the more times we sort of pitch into this, well, the more you think, well, effectively at some point we may actually go for those ultimate high lows at 104, 560 sort of region. So I'm very much aware that that's a possibility the way it's doing it, and it's selling off a little bit at the moment. It has put a sort of a reversal type bar in there. This is spinning top, but we'll have to see if we can break the top of that to see that it's reversed. But at the moment, it's another sign of weakness, and we are into a day which we could see some low volumes, particularly this afternoon during Thanksgiving. So the current situation is neutral-ish from the 4-hourly perspective, particularly. Now, we are seeing a bit of a sell-off again at the moment. It's been in a very tight range through the Asian session, which is quite nice. Perhaps if we see a break these sort of current Asian session lows, it might just trigger a bit more of a downside sell. We've seen the daily pivot just about caught there. So we could be on for yesterday's lows and the daily S1 at some point, although with volumes lighter, maybe in the midi, maybe a more obvious target sort of area for the euro. But certainly erring on the weaker side with the lower highs, etc., that's been put in, particularly the big sell-off yesterday morning. Okay, the pound dollar. Now this is start with a bigger time frame again. Well, yesterday almost not a key reversal, but certainly a decent reverse bar in there yesterday. And we saw a happiness in the sort of news. It sort of went back up and sold back off, and then rallied up, and maybe there's an acceptance that UK is in a reasonable condition, relatively, I'd say. But aside of all that, what are we looking at on the hourlies? I'm just sort of put this sort of wedgie type pattern in, which seems a bit obvious. We've got sort of these higher lows. There was a double bottom, then a higher low, and we've taken the top off, so it's confirmed higher low. And it's really now whether we sort of start breaking to the upside or downside. It's almost, to me, the way the pattern's shaping up, I'd prefer it to run to this upside. It's this higher low kicking in now, just like the daily pivot to be taken, hit properly first. But if it does start breaking towards that upside, well, I'm just wondering if we're just sort of bottoming out here for now at least. As I say, daily pivot gets hit and we see a decent reversal. I'd prefer to be on the longer side. However, it starts breaking down and breaks through that 50 MA. Well, I'll be looking for the short side. Okay, that's the pound, dollar yen. Dollar yen, well, it's consolidated here yesterday really a little bit more. There's nothing too clear. It's bounced off that daily 21, which we can see a push up here, sort of like a little bull flag in a bear market. It seems over the last few days. So whether or not that can hold, if it can push up, well, it may run back towards its 4-hourly 50 sort of direction. Looking at this shorter time frame, looking at the hourlies, we've already had the daily pivot hit, but we're sort of sitting in this, I say, neutralish zone. It's broken this sort of trend line that was coming down from the top of the flaggy sort of pattern. So maybe we could see a continued push up towards that, back towards yesterday's highs in the weekly pivot. Aussie dollar. Okay, Aussie dollar put a doji in yesterday, and we've seen sort of a lower high on the 4-hourlies since that period, so suggesting a bit of weakness now. You can see it into this picture here, some of the data that came out throughout the Australian session was quite weak, and it's been reflected accordingly. So, but it already has hit the daily pivot and the S1. Well, there's the possibility with the euro it could run down to its S2 area here, but it could just as easily just become a little bit range bound as it sometimes does, as you can see back over here for quite long periods once it's had a decent move through its own session. But if it does break down, well, as I say, the S2 is a possibility there. Finally, the Canadian dollar. And I'm going to link this with oil in just a second. We'll have a look at what oil's doing. But the Canadian dollar put a pivot swing in, then triggered that, looking a little bit bearish. Let's just have a look at just using the West Texas oil price here. And you see the Texas oil price has been recovering a little bit here, which you'd expect to see dollar yen's coming down in response of that. So recovery on a daily basis has bring back the Canadian dollar. And there's a slight recovery, as I said there. Now if that oil price dips back again, well, we'll probably more likely see the Canadian dollar pushing up quite strongly. But if it continues strengthening slightly, well, we've got a better chance of the downside. So where are we here? I think I haven't drawn it on at the moment, but there's a clear trend line sort of running across these lows here, maybe across the highs here, which may be a decision point. So although that's the live candle, so may not be the best of decision points, but it's already hit the daily pivot. Looks like it wants its S1 almost the way it's running up at the moment, but maybe a break of this 50 MA, which has been tested yesterday. If it does break through that, well, then maybe it'll run up to S1, yesterday's high sort of region. Anything selling off, if we see it selling off or moving up, well, I'll be looking for a break of these lows, probably back down towards that S1 zone. Okay, that's it for me. So nothing else in terms of news. As I say, the bank holiday in the US today, it can go a bit quiet today and tomorrow, with bearing in mind a lot of people take the Friday off, and it's Black Friday. Yeah, there's not a lot in terms of news at all that's going to zip through coming out today. So quite a quiet morning, potentially, and certainly a quiet day. Okay, hope you have a great one. As I say, if you're celebrating happy Thanksgiving, have a great one. Bye for now.